And hello everyone, it is Peter Sam the Narrow Gauge Engine here, back with Rating the Railway series. I am sick, so I'm sorry if this video is shit. I tried to do this last night, and yeah, I wasn't too thrilled with the outcome. It was under 10 minutes, it was very poorly explained. And in my opinion, I think I could do a lot better with this episode. So I'm going to try again, and hopefully this time I won't fuck it up. Today we are looking at Gallant Old Engine and the Little Old Engine. As usual, we will start with the first one of the pair to be made, the Little Old Engine, and then we'll move on to Gallant Old Engine later. Now, our first story here is Trucks. Trucks is a story about Sir Handel, who fakes being sick in order to get off of doing work with trucks. So Peter Sam fills in for him, and the trucks decide to cause a crash when they think that Sir Handel is Peter Sam. Now, this story it's nice, it's got a great crash, obviously done better in the TV series because, you can't do much with pictures. But I don't think that detracts from how beautiful the illustrations are. By the way, I don't think I really need to mention this, but yeah, the illustrations in both books are amazing. Obviously, Trucks is Peter Sam episode, so that resonates with me. And yeah, it's just great. I like the inclusion of Sir Handel and Gordon. I like their sort of relationship and how they're always trying to one-up each other, and Gordon fools Sir Handel in a nice way. It's just great. I feel like the Sir Handel and Peter Sam sort of relationship they've got going on is great as well. So, Trucks, certainly a decent one. Not the best here, but decent. Home at Last is definitely a story I have not much to say on. It's nice. It's just your average Audrey story. Scarlowy comes home after being repaired. He meets Duncan and Rusty and, chats with Peter Sam. It's great, It's just nice to see Scarlowy back. It's definitely confusing how we always have, engines leaving and engines coming to the Scarlowy. You can never really pinpoint at what exact time the engines are there because it's kind of a muddle, in my opinion. I definitely need to work out better where engines are at certain points. But yeah, I like Home at Last. It's decent. It's a great addition to the book. Next up is Rock and Roll, and Rock and Roll does something that the TV series exploits a lot with the Narrow Gauge, and I think that's the relationship between Duncan and Rusty. They seem to very much balance each other out. Rusty is this kind and considerate character who has affection for the old and the new, and he's very much like your not so very stereotypical Diesel. He's like a flip of Diesel from book 13, and I think it's a great showcase that Thomas the Tank Engine has never had authoritarian tones, as some may believe it does, because characters like Rusty, who, are Diesels, and are, Diesels are said to be stereotypically evil and bad, but Rusty sort of upends that, and so does Mavis and Daisy. They're all Diesel characters that are nice, and Boko as well. But yeah, Rock and Roll is certainly very good, because we have Rusty, and then we have Duncan, who I actually have just realised I haven't spoke about, because he's the main character. What am I on about? Anyway, Duncan is very strong-willed. He's very, he's very forward, basically. He doesn't take crap from anyone, and he thinks that his way, his method, is always the best, and he's very stubborn as well. His Rock and Roll is a nice quirk. Not exactly something that, should be made light of a lot, because it's something that no one really gives a shit about. But that's the beauty of Audrey's writing. He never really delves into something more than once. He always sticks to very different things for each story, which I like. It's very good. Yeah, Rock and Roll certainly better than the previous two we've seen. Little Old Twins is the fourth book, the fourth story of the 14th book that we have here. And you know what? I think if this was the way that Narrow Gauge was capped off, I think I would have liked it. It has every character besides Duke, but he hasn't been introduced yet. Yeah, it has every character besides Duke, and they all get some sort of, like, I've got to be careful how I word this. It's like some sort of bit to their character that really adds on well and really showcases what their character is. So Handel gets that remark about being broken up because he doesn't want to do work, which is very in character for him. Peter samples the TV train. Is that what it's called? I don't. He pulls a long line of trucks with cameras in them, so I guess it's the TV train. Scarlo is the star of the show. Rheneas isn't around, which I find hilarious. I don't think he's around anyway. Yeah, and then Duncan's being gobby and annoying, and then Rusty's just being Rusty. I think it showcases what their characters are a lot this episode, and I really like that. And it's just gone really dark, but yeah, Little Old Twins is a true testament to every character that we've seen so far. And I just find it hilarious that if this was the way that Narrow Gauge was capped off, I think that would have been funny. Because, you know, Rheneas isn't here, which is very in character. So now we're moving on to Gallant Old Engine, and the first story in that book is Special Funnel. Special Funnel is a great story. It's one of the best Narrow Gauge ones, in my opinion. It has great storm scenes, and it just does a very good job of showing how Peter Sam loses his funnel. It's a very iconic tale, one of the most iconic Narrow Gauge stories, I think, anyway. Definitely a fun one, and, you know, I like how they incorporate the name of Peter Sam's funnel instead of just calling it like someone sat on it, instead of just saying that in the episode. Yeah, it's just great. Do I need to really explain why this story is so good? I don't think I do. I think it's pretty obvious to most people that Special Funnel is amazing. Up next is Steamroller, and Steamroller is just as good as Special Funnel. Obviously, in the TV series, ranking every season 4 episode video, I think I put Special Funnel slightly above Steamroller, but here I think they're just as equal. They're just on par with one another, and it's just a great story. I've heard people say that there is no true protagonist, and I agree with that. So Handel is very much an anti-hero, and George is very much a villain. So when you pair those two off, there's no real right side to root for, I suppose, and that makes it just that much better. Honestly, I really liked reading this as well. I think the illustrations are amazing, just as amazing as they were in the other book. And yeah, I think John T. Kenny really pulled it out of the park with this one. Next up is Passengers and Polish. Now, Passengers and Polish, if you've seen my ranking every season 4 episode video, you know that I put this very low down, and I said I didn't like it very much. I'm going to retract that statement. I cannot speak today, I'm so sorry. But yeah, I'm going to retract that statement just for the book, because I feel like it's a good story, but the adaptation I don't think was needed. It's very much a nothing story, but it does it well. It introduces us to Nancy, and I think just the playful plot of it works for this, but maybe not the TV series, especially when we're in season 4, which is one of those more experimental seasons, and we're going back to like season 1 type episodes. But yeah, I think this is just on par with the other 2 stories that we've looked at here today, from this book. It's fun. It's a great Narrow Gauge story. It's definitely one I have nostalgia for. I think that's why I'm rating it a bit higher. But yeah, it's definitely more fun here than in the episode. So that's, I think I rated it a bit too harshly in the ranking video. And I think I should retract that and say that Passengers and Polish isn't as bad as I said it was. So yeah. Let's just go on to the next and the final story we'll be looking at today, and that is Gallant Old Engine. Gallant Old Engine is the namesake of the book, and for good reason. It is amazing. I think it's an automatic 5 just for how iconic it is, how desperate they show the railway. I think the desperation is definitely not mentioned as much in the episode. And I think, I think it's very much toned down, and I don't know what it is about it, but I think, it's toned down more in the episode than in the story, I think, definitely. But yeah, it's great how much Rheneas needs to get the passengers to safety is just, it's a very risky situation, and it's one that Rheneas pulls through from, and we understand why he got sent away and why the events of Four Little Engines happened in the first place. It's a great loop, is what I'm trying to say. If very old engines didn't exist and this was the last one until Duke the Lost Engine, I think I'd be a bit miffed, but I'd kind of understand it. Gallant Old Engine's just amazing. Again, I don't think I need to explain why it's so good. I really like it. It's very fun to read. Duncan being as sardacious as ever. Just, being an arsehole. And Duncan is the reason that this story's been told, and I kind of feel grateful for that. Just a great story. I don't think I can say anything besides that. Now is time for everyone's favourite bit, I'm sure, the rankings. Trucks got a 3.5 out of 5, so did Home at Last. Rock and Roll got a 4 out of 5, and Little Old Twins got a 4.5 out of 5, giving a total of 7.75 out of 10. Gallant Old Engine, on the other hand, Special Funnel, Steamroller and Passengers and Polish got 4s out of 5, and then Gallant Old Engine got a 5 out of 5, giving a total of 8.5 out of 10. So, to me, I think it's pretty clear that Gallant Old Engine is the superior one, and it's the best narrow gauge book so far. It's the best Skarloey Railway book now, definitely, because we've only got Duke the Lost Engine left to look at, and that's not a Skarloey Railway book. So Gallant Old Engine for me is definitely the best Skarloey Railway book out there. It has 4 amazing stories, and they're all amazing. They all show off great character interaction, great just characters in general, and I've got to say, no book so far has gotten an 8.5 out of 10. That's unheard of. The highest we had was 8.25 out of 10 with tramway engines, but no, this one really smashed it out of the park. And since the first episode, I was thinking, wow, is tram engines really going to be the top dog? But no, Gallant Old Engine surprised me, definitely. It surprised the hell out of me. When I first looked at it and I added up all the scores, I thought, wait, what? It's that good? It beat tramway engines? I couldn't believe it for a second, but yeah, it beat tramway engines, and it's amazing. It's great. Honestly, read it. But yeah, read Little Old Engine as well, because it scored a 7.75, and that's still really good, because most railway series books are getting like 6s and 5s, and for the few that we've looked at more recently, we've gotten higher scores. But yeah, next episode is going to be branch line engines versus mainline engines. 2 more books I feel very confidently about, more so mainline engines than branch line engines, which may sway my opinion. I don't know. But yeah, I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Well done, Gallant Old Engine, for somehow surprising me, smashing it out the park, and just amazing me. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.